Alright guys, welcome to my gaming channel. This is Adam22 and today I'm going to be teaching you how to use this here kendama. Now to be totally upfront, there's a ton of kendama tutorials all over the internet and most of them are really good. They're way better than this one. They teach all kinds of advanced tricks, but that's not what I'm trying to do today. I'm trying to get in there and give you guys the quick lesson that we give everybody all the time. Whenever they come in the store, people ask us, how do you use that? What do you do? I'm going to try to take that routine that I'm so used to putting people through and I'm going to try to express it today on a YouTube video. And I'm going to do that by teaching you how to big cup and spike. So let's get right into things. First thing you want to do is the big cup. So what you want to do is you want to hold the kendama in your hand like this. Nothing too complicated. Usually people seem pretty able to get this. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to raise the ball up in the shortest possible distance you can, straight up. You want to land it on this big cup and you want to cushion it a little bit. Now you're going to cushion it in two different ways. You can use your wrist. You can actually move your wrist to sort of soften the blow. You also want to use your knees. Most kendama tricks, when it really gets down to it, that's like the best piece of advice that you can have, is to use your knees. You want to use your legs, go up and down with it like it's an egg. That's what we always say, like an egg. You don't want to break it. You want to bring it up, catch it, and bring it down. Now that might have looked a little bit exaggerated, a little bit over the top, because in reality, of course, I can do it without really too much movement. But for you, you're just starting, it's gonna help you out a little bit if you give it that dip with your knees and let it land real gentle like that. So try it again. Just like that. Now, one thing that people tend to do wrong, they tend to start out with the kendama in a stupid position like this. You don't need the spike facing up. You want to have the cup facing up because you're going for the cup. So that's number one. Put the cup up and bring it up that short little distance. Now here's another thing. I'm going to do an impression of what a lot of people look like when they try to do this. They go. Now, that can work. It's actually kind of frustrating for me as a kendama teacher when you have somebody and they do that and it actually works and you see them all crazy like that. It's not the best plan. If you're gonna do it, you want to go straight up. There's no advantage towards swinging it out. Once you get into more complicated kendama tricks, there's gonna be all kinds of stuff. We were swinging it all over the place, but this is the easiest possible trick. And the way you do it is extremely easy. You go up, catch it, and then dip a little bit. The alternative is if you pull it up and you don't cushion it, you're gonna end up doing something like this, where it just sort of bounces off. It doesn't really have any place to sit. It's kind of hard for the ball to sit there unless you give it a little bit of give. So that's your number one thing that you want to practice. Watch the video of me doing it over and over. Maybe look up another tutorial, but big cup, just like that. Super easy. So once you get the big cup done, this is what you're going to start working on next, is you're going to start messing around with the other cups. Now you might not be able to tell here, but this cup is quite a bit bigger than this cup, and every kendama is like that. The big cup is bigger than the little cup, and then you might not notice right away, but there's another cup down here, and we call this base cup. So let me give you a little example of what it might look like once you get accustomed to using all of the cups. See? Just like that. You can switch between them. The traditional style of kendama is really more focused on doing these in quick succession rather than doing all the crazy new school tricks that you've probably seen people like me doing on Instagram and everything. So once you get used to doing the big cup, that's what you're going to want to do, is start messing around with just sort of playing with it. And all the rules apply. Everything that I just told you about how to do the big cup, same thing. If you're going to be pulling up and you want to hit the base cup, same thing. You just want to cushion it a little bit. And once you get used to it, you can really easily just go between. And that's one of the first things that you can do with the kendama that actually gives you that fun feeling. And don't be depressed or worried if you're not consistent. Nobody's all that consistent. Even the people who are really good, even people who have spent years practicing, they still mess up on the basic stuff. You're still not going to get big cup 100% of the time, even though it is pretty easy. Okay, now if you're a beginner, you might be thinking, well, Adam, that all seemed pretty easy. And you're right, that was pretty easy. And there's another step though that you're gonna do next that people find a lot more challenging, but there's a trick that's gonna let you do it, and it's really easy. This is called spike. You just pull the ball straight up and you bring your kendama under it and you let it fall into that hole. People always think that this seems incredibly hard, but in reality, it's not that hard. I'm gonna give you the cheat code. Take the ball, and if you got a friend who can help you out, that's gonna help a lot, but you wanna get the ball spinning. I'm gonna try to do it myself right now, but if you have a friend around that can do this for you, that'll help a lot too. All right, see now that was not the best spin because it's a little bit rocky. It's kind of swinging back and forth all over the place, and that's gonna affect it. The goal here is to spin the ball so that when you pull it up, the hole stays down, and it's very predictable how to get that on. Not the best spin, it wasn't spinning that fast, but it did manage to keep the hole down. And for you, if you're a beginner, that's gonna be really essential because it's not something that you do once you get better at kendama. Once you get better at kendama, you start doing all these crazy different tricks. You're not really gonna be able to just spin the ball in order to spike it. It's not really a realistic thing, but if you're just starting out, it can really, really help you. And then once you get used to doing it with the spin, then you can get used to doing it without the spin. So let's take another little look. And it really is that easy. Once you get used to it, you don't have to spin it anymore, and you can just go straight up, just like that. For me, I'm not really like looking at it that much. I'm looking at it, but I'm not paying that close of attention because in reality, once you've done this enough times, it starts to really feel second nature. But yeah, that's how you do it. And that spin, if you're having a hard time with it, honestly, work on it for 20 minutes and you're gonna be able to get it with the spin. I have taught grandmas, random girls on the street, you know, 12-year-old boys, whoever, like anybody, old people, whoever, anybody, homeless people, we got them doing the kendama. It's easy, they get into it, it's really easy once you do that spin. And you can see right there, I didn't get it, possibly because I didn't spin it. Let's try spinning it again. Oh, see, that's terrible. It's all wonky, it's all over the place, but it might still work. Boom, just like that. Now you see, there's a whole bunch of different ways to spike it aside from the way I just showed you. We're not gonna get super into that today, but just to give you an idea of what else is out there, check this out. This is called a swing spike. Instead of pulling it straight up, I'm gonna flick it forward and bring it around 180 degrees so that the ball lands right on the spike. You ready? Let's see that again. Just like that. Here's another one. This is called down spike. You actually hold the kendama in a completely different way by the cups, upside down, and then you actually roll the ball up. There's two different ways to do it. You can roll it forward like this, or you can roll it forward like that. Either way, the goal is to make the hole sort of float there, and then you just sort of stab your kendama down. Let's check it out real quick. Just like that. Those are just things that you might want to work on once you get the basics done. But for you out there, this is my goal. Everybody who watches this, find a kendama, learn spike, learn big cup, and then we're going to come back on the next edition and we're going to teach you even more stuff. Now, if you want to get a kendama, best place to get one obviously is nojumper.com. That's how you can support the movement over here, NJK. That's the move. And you might want to also follow at nojumperkendama on Instagram. If you really, really want to go with something a little bit more low priced, head on over to Target. Word on the streets is that they get your kendamas too, and they're probably less expensive. Ours are like 35 bucks. You might be able to go to Target and get one for like 20 or maybe even less. I honestly don't really know, but if you're on a budget, understandable. What I would advise you against doing, going on Amazon and buying something that clearly looks like a piece of crap, because odds are that any of these tricks that I'm teaching you are gonna be way harder if you have a crappy kendama. If you go to Target, you can get one from the brand Sweets. It's one of the biggest kendama brands. We also carry another kendama brand called Chrome, K-R-O-M. Those are good brands. No Jumper Kendama, good brand. Soul Kendama, S-O-L Kendama, they're good. Grain Theory, another good brand. You're not gonna find a lot of these brands in stores and stuff. You might have to order it online, but there's a lot of good brands out there, and I say all that just to say you wanna stay away from crappy kendamas. So, No Jumper Kendama, what I personally endorse, nojumper.com, great place to get t-shirts and such, but lots of good ones out there. Just make sure you don't get a piece of crap. So this has been Adam22 teaching you how to kendama. Let me know what you think that I should be teaching in the next episode of this, but my goal is to kind of help you guys come up in the ranks and give you a little bit of a insight into exactly what makes this kendama thing tick. So once again, head on over to nojumper.com and let's do it.